Hello and welcome to Fashion Report Friday, the weekly video series trying to get you the most MGP humanly possible from the Mandeville Gold Saucer every week on a Friday when judging begins. As you can see, this then is week 231 and the theme this time around is Bewhiskered Combatant. The individual clues include Wild Whiskers for our helm, Vagabond for our hands, Kinky Boots for our boot slot, and The Father for our wrist slot. In this video we have a 100 score with some alternatives, an 80 with dies, and an 80 that's supposedly as easy as it can be. So without further ado, let's get straight to that 100. Alrighty then, for a 100 score, as you can see, these are the items I chose. First of all, for our helm, I went for the Saint's Beard. The Saint's Beard was part of an old All Saints Wake celebration, not All Saints Wake, sorry, Starlight celebration, and I've kept on to this. You can actually get this on the Mog Station Cash Shop today if you don't have this. Alternatively to this though, I do know that the false mustache will also work. That's also from a 2014 Starlight celebration if I remember. If you have had these before, you can most likely go to a recompense officer in any of the three starting city-states, such as going to the Arth Castle on the upper decks of Limsa Laminsa, and you'll be able to go talk to the recompense officer and actually calamity salvage this stuff from when you misplaced it. I'm not sure of any other alternatives that work so far. I have tried a few things, but so far Saint's Beard and False Mustache are the only two that I can confirm for you. For the gloves then, I went for the Dalmor Arm Guards of Striking. These are fairly easily accessible. Of course, you will need to be a monk or a samurai, or indeed a pugilist, at level 54 or above. These are actually vendor purchased. I got mine from Norlays in the Pillars of Ishgard from a Disciple of War level 54 tab for 14,744 gil. Alternatives to this slot do come down to you having access to other Dalmor Arm Guards. So the Dalmor Arm Guards of Scouting and the Dalmor Arm Guards of Aiming will also work for gold for this slot. For the boots then, I went for the leather boots. These are easily accessible. You can get these from any low-level city-state armor vendor, such as Gwalter. Of course, they're equipable by all classes in the game, level 8 and above, which is the main reason you would go for this. For the main reason that I'm not going to provide alternatives is simply because this is the best option and will certainly make it into the easy 80 as well. The last slot then, but obviously not the final thing in the video, is the wrist slot. Unfortunately, this will need to be any prototype or full Gordian wristband. It doesn't necessarily matter what job role this is for, since they unlock these for being equipped for all classes, as you can see in the tooltip there. So essentially the best way of getting this is to go into somewhere like Gordius Fists of the Father, for example, the first wing, on normal, unrestrict this, go in at level 90, melt the boss down. Oppressor is not difficult, the damage won't even touch you. Honestly, you don't need to be a healer or anything like that. It will just melt if you're level 90. Get that killed, loot the chests, and you should end up with one or two of the tarnish bolts. Then go over to Idleshire, talk to the left side vendor, click on the Gordius section, and redeem for whatever wristband you want. You can't really make a mistake here simply because all of the wristbands work for gold this week and they are all equipable by all classes, but the restriction is level 60 and above. So that's the 100 score. There are a few things there that would cause you to go out of your way, but for the most part it wasn't too difficult. But if you're finding that difficult, let's move on to an 80 purely with dies. For the die options then, as you can see here, we've got an 82. We get an 80 guaranteed if we have something in every slot equipped. That includes all of our accessories. For the weapon then, Coral Pink is your best in-slot die on any weapon. For any helm in the game, Slate Grey, as well as any body in the game, Slate Grey. Any hands in the game, Coral Pink, any legs in the game, Apple Green, and any feet in the game, Cobalt Brown. So if you were looking for an easy option, these dies are majoritively vendor purchased or fairly easy to create or find from vendors, which is why they'll have a low cost on the market board. Very good actually this time, no expensive dies, nothing that will set you back any kind of pressure. So if you want to just mix and match between your dies or just go for the die option, with bits from the 100, then you're going to get an 80 very easily. Speaking of which, let's move straight on to the easy 80. So just so you know that the dies I've chosen for this basically come from Nanobay or any other independent merchant that sells dies. Nanobay is located in Uldar in a market district. You can teleport straight to the Sapphire Avenue Exchange, and just a little bit down from there is Nanobay's shop. If you click on here, you'll see that there's the slate grey die, for example, of which 2 of which is actually best in slot. Okay, for the easiest 80 possible, this should come as no surprise. What I've done is I've got any helm and any chest in the game, and I've dyed both of those slate grey die. Once again, slate grey die, accessible, very little value from any low-level city-state die vendor, such as Nanobay, as we said, and we also have the leather boots equipped, which are vendor purchased, and those are obviously dyed cobalt brown dye. Even without whatever this is, it looks like the housemaid's wrist dresses give us an extra star for some reason, and the father section, I think it's just from having those equipped. As long as you have the leather boots dyed cobalt brown, and dye any chest in the game slate grey, any helm in the game slate grey, you'll get an 80 guaranteed. Make sure you put your MGP buffs on this week. The Make It Rain event is still going on, so enjoy all of that lovely MGP farming time. Anyway, much love. Link in the description for all of the information about theory crafting for this. Go give that a upvote on Reddit if you wish to. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.